Hello, my name is Sayed Miralai. Today I will be talking about designing a sustainable energy profile for the great state of California. My goal is to evaluate the current energy profile and propose a new viable energy profile which meets the future energy demand and reduces associated environmental impacts. In this video, I will briefly go over California's background, summarize the current energy profile, go over available sources of energy, then I will evaluate the environmental issues associated with them. After that, I will forecast the energy demand for the year 2038. And lastly, I will propose a new sustainable energy profile. With a population around 39.5 million, California is the most populated state in the US. California has the fifth largest economy in the world and ranks first in the US. Yet, California has one of the lowest per capita energy consumption levels in the United States according to Energy Information Administration website. This figure shows California production estimate for the year 2016. Around 2,431 trillion BTU of energy was produced in 2016. You can see the net electricity generation in this figure. The main sources of energy in California are natural gas and renewable energies. The net electricity generation was around 20,973,000 megawatt hour in 2018. The total energy consumption in California was around 7,830 trillion BTU in 2016, which makes California the second highest in the nation in terms of total consumption. However, the total consumption per capita was only 199 million BTU. Now let's look at the energy consumption in California. The figure on the right shows the total consumption per sector. As you can see, the transportation sector has the highest consumption and it uses around 3,116 trillion BTU. According to EIA, a total of 340,115 million miles was traveled in 2016 alone by Californians. The figure on the left shows the percentage of greenhouse gases emission in California. As you can see, carbon dioxide has the highest rate with 83%, followed by methane with 9%. 429.4 million metric tons of carbon dioxide was emitted in 2016. As you can see, the transportation sector produces the highest with the rate of 41%. As I mentioned earlier, the main sources of energy in California are natural gas and renewable energy. In the next few slides, I will be talking about the environmental issues associated with these sources. The most common issues with natural gas are associated but are not limited to air pollution, resource extraction, transportation, water use, and waste disposal. Although burning natural gas produces significantly less amount of carbon dioxide than burning coal products for the same amount of energy, however, natural gas is mainly made of methane, which is a strong greenhouse gas as well. According to Energy Information Administration, in most cases, drilling natural gas will require cleaning and leveling an area around the well site. Drilling activities will produce air pollution and will disturb people, wildlife, and water resources. Pipelines are required to transport natural gas, and they are buried underground. Where there are pipelines, there are always leaks. Fracturing is required in order to extract unconventional natural gas. Large quantities of hydraulic fluid must be injected underground in order to hydraulically fracture shell and hydrocarbons. This fluid contains 98 to 99.5% water. Propane and other chemicals make up the remaining balance. 30 to 50% of this water flows back to the surface, and there is always chance of contaminating the freshwater resources near the surface. And it also produces a large amount of wastewater, which requires proper disposal method. Now let's turn our attention to environmental problems associated with geothermal energy. I will mainly focus on resource extraction and water use. According to Union of Concerned Scientists, the hot water that is pumped from underground reservoirs often contains high levels of sulfur, salt, and other minerals. This can impact both water quality and consumption. Most of the water used for cooling will be reinjected to the reservoir. This process may contaminate freshwater resources near the surface. Another problem is that some plants use fresh water for cooling purposes as well, and that can have major concerns for Californians since it has been dealing with severe droughts recently. And environmental issues associated with solar include, but are not limited to, waste production and water use. According to Earth.com News, the production of solar panels require plastic, metals, sodium hydroxide, and hydrofluoric acid. One of the major concerns with use of solar panels is disposal of the panels when they have served their purpose. The waste disposal is a problem with most energy production resources in California. Now let's look at the environmental issues associated with wind energy. According to California Department of Fish and Wildlife, wind turbines may cause habitat fragmentation and habitat loss. The solution for this would be to use methods to assess birds and bats' activity at the proposed sites. Another problem with these plants are the amount of land they use, and these sites are unappealing to some folks. Environmental issues with hydropower include, but are not limited to, air pollution, land use, wildlife, and water quality. According to Guardian News, hydroelectric dams contribute more to global warming than previously estimated. Researchers found that rotting vegetation in water means that the dam emits about 1 billion tons of greenhouse gases every year. One of the major problems with hydropower is land use, since they require so much land for construction. According to Union of Concerned Scientists, dams can have negative wildlife impacts as well. Fish and other organisms can be killed or injured by the turbine blades. Now let's look at the future growth. According to Public Policy Institute of California, the expected growth rate will remain at a steady rate of under 1% or close to 1%. Therefore, the projected population of California will be around 47.4 million by the year 2038. Now let's look at the energy demand growth. According to California Energy Commission, the average growth for high energy demand will be around 1.59% until 2030. I will assume that the average yearly growth will stay steady at this rate until year 2038. Therefore, the total energy consumption will be around 10,082 trillion BTU. According to California Energy Commission, industrial sector will have a yearly average growth of 0.67%, which makes the future consumption growth for the industrial sector around 2,080 trillion BTU. So let's look at my new energy profile. My new profile will include the following, considering the population growth and the new demands. I'm proposing a 60% decrease in natural gas production. I will assume that net electricity generation from nuclear power will stay the same, because California had 3 plants originally, but 2 of them were closed in 2013. So we cannot have that much of increase there. And also 20% decrease in hydroelectric power, and around 320% increase in other renewable energy resources such as geothermal, wind, solar, and biomass. These 2 pie charts represent the current energy profile and the future energy profile. This table was created in Excel to show the net electricity generation for the current and the new energy profile. As I mentioned earlier, natural gas is considered the Earth's cleanest fossil fuel since it produces significantly less amount of carbon dioxide than burning coal products for the same amount of energy. However, natural gas is mainly made of methane, which is a strong greenhouse gas as well. So I decided to reduce its production to minimize the amount of greenhouse gas released into the air. The reason why I chose to decrease the production of hydroelectric was because, according to Guardian News, some researchers believe that hydroelectric dams generate a lot of greenhouse gases than previously expected. Nuclear power is also considered a clean source of energy and produces no carbon dioxide, but it is unlikely to increase the production with only 1 operating plant. Lastly, I propose a 320% increase in production of other renewable energy sources such as wind, solar, geothermal, and biomass. Since they do not emit any greenhouse gases directly, they are the best alternative. According to NPR and Electronics California Assembly, just passed a bill which required the state to obtain 100% of its energy from renewable sources by the year 2045. And thank you for watching my video.